Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is a lecture for December 16th, 2020, and this is going to be a discussion regarding pronouns based on Unit 101.1. So I hope that you have already watched the previous two lectures. That is an introduction to the pronouns and a discussion on Unit 98 and 99. So Unit 100 and Unit 101 are going to be based on the reflexive pronouns, emphatic pronouns, and each other, the usage of each other. So let's start the lecture for today. So, reflexive pronouns. Introduction. Myself is a reflexive pronoun. In the sentence, I've cut myself, the words I and myself mean the same thing. Myself refers back to the subject I. So reflexive pronouns basically are the reiteration of something happening to the subject. The form: first person singular myself, second person singular yourself, third person singular himself, herself, itself. First person plural ourselves, second person plural yourselves, third person plural themselves. Compare yourself and yourselves. Emma, you can dry yourself on this towel. Vicky and Rachel, you can dry yourselves on these towels. Now here you can see that there is a change. Like I said before, that the subject-verb agreement has to be there as far as the usage of the pronouns is concerned. So in the first example, Emma, you can dry yourself on this towel. It means that Emma is the only person who is being addressed in this example. That is why they have used the second person singular here, yourself. In the second example, Vicky and Rachel, so here are two persons. So that is why we have to pluralize it, and we have to use yourselves here. Reflexive pronouns. I am not defining it in this lecture because I have already given a detailed account of reflexive pronouns in the introduction to pronouns. So if you are still not familiar with it, you can pause this video, watch the introduction to pronouns first, and then you can watch this video. The use of reflexive pronouns. Here are some examples. Mark made himself a sandwich. Vicky had to force herself to eat. We have locked ourselves out. The children watched themselves on video. So reflexive pronouns basically are used when the action is affecting the performer of the action, or when the action is affecting the subject. So Mark made himself a sandwich. Who did Mark make a sandwich for? Mark made a sandwich for himself, or Mark made himself a sandwich. You can use it in both ways. You can either use it right after the verb, or you can use it in a way such as Mark made a sandwich for himself. So Vicky had to force herself to eat. From this pronoun, it is clear that Vicky is a female. That is why we will use herself here. We have locked ourselves out. So in subject basically is a plural, which is a we. So that is why we use the plural pronoun ourselves here. The children watched themselves on video. The children, of course, is a plural subject. That is why we are going to use the plural third person subject here, which is themselves. We cannot use me, you, him, etc. to refer to the subject. Now, in the previous units, we discussed that me, you, and him basically are the objects. In case reflexive pronouns are basically used in the situations when the action is affecting the doer of the action. So in all these examples that we have discussed up till now, the actions are basically affecting or impacting the performers of the action or the subjects. When the policeman came in, the gunman shot him. So him is the policeman. Here the action is being done by the gunman, and who is being affected? The policeman. सो इस एग्जाम्पल में दो जो हैं वो नाउन्स हैं, एक सब्जेक्ट है और एक ऑब्जेक्ट है. गनमैन ने शूट किया, गनमैन शॉट, सो दैट मीन्स दैट गनमैन इज द सब्जेक्ट, एंड हु वाज शॉट, हु रिसीव्ड द बुलेट? द पुलिसमैन. इसीलिए यहाँ पर आप हिमसेल्फ यूज नहीं कर सकते. Read the other example. When the policeman came in, the gunman shot himself. यहाँ पर दो आप कर लें sentences. When the policeman came in, this is a relative clause. The gunman shot himself. Now this is an action that is affecting the gunman himself. तो यहाँ पर आप देखें कि himself और him के usage से difference बन जाता है. We can use a reflexive pronoun after a preposition. The children are old enough to look after themselves. Now here look after basically is the phrase used to refer to one thing. What does look after mean? It means caring for someone. So the children are old enough to look after. So here after is not a part of themselves. After is a part of the look, and look after together is used when you are referring to it as a meaning means caring. But after the preposition of place, we can use me, you, him, etc. In the mirror, I saw a lorry behind me. Mike didn't have any money with him. Laura thought she recognized the woman standing next to her. So in all these examples, when you are using a preposition of place, then you cannot use reflexive pronouns in these situations. Part D. Idioms with reflexive pronouns. Look at these examples. We really enjoyed ourselves. Now, idioms basically are also the terms where the two words are used together with each other, and they are used in specific circumstances and specific contexts, especially when they are referring to something. यानी कि ये लफ्ज़ इकट्ठे इस्तेमाल होते हैं जब वो एक ही चीज़ की तरफ रेफर कर रहे हों, और अलग अलग जो हैं वो होगा तो वो कॉन्टेक्स्ट के हिसाब से उनका यूजेज बदल जाएगा. For example, we really enjoyed ourselves. Enjoyed ourselves basically एक ऐसा expression है जो कि हमेशा इकट्ठे ही इस्तेमाल होता है. It always refers to having a good time. तो जब भी कभी enjoying ourselves, they enjoyed themselves, कुछ इस तरह का expression आएगा. It means that themselves और enjoyment हमेशा इकट्ठे ही यूज होते हैं. जब वो हो जाएंगे तो वो idiom बन जाएंगे और उनका मतलब यही होगा कि जो जिनके बारे में बात की जा रही है, they are enjoying themselves. I hope the children behave themselves. So I hope the children behave themselves, or behave, it means that behaving well. Just help yourself to sandwiches, won't you? Help yourself means that you are welcome, more than welcome to do a task, for example just to have sandwiches, यानी कि अपनी मदद आप करें. अब आप देखें कि उर्दू में भी यूज हो रहा है अपनी मदद आप करें. Help yourself. Please make yourself at home. Behave as if this was your home. Make yourself at home. This is also an idiomatic expression just to make someone realize that be comfortable. ये तमाम जो हैं ये वर्ड्स ये इकट्ठे ऐसे ही इस्तेमाल होते हैं और इनके अंदर जो है रिफ्लेक्सिव प्रोनाउन आप देख रहे हैं कि यूज हो रहा है. इस पूरे इडियम मेक योर सेल्फ एट होम का मतलब ही क्या है? ये बेसिकली इडियोमैटिक फ्रेज है. इडियोमैटिक फ्रेज का मतलब ये है कि इन लफ्ज़ों के अलग अलग माने नहीं, कॉन्टेक्स्ट के हिसाब से इनको बोला जाता है. सो मेक योर सेल्फ एट होम और मेक योर सेल्फ फील एट होम, इसका मतलब, या फिर हम ये भी कहते हैं प्लीज़ फील एट होम. तो इसका मतलब यही होता है कि प्लीज़ बी कंफर्टेबल, आप इसे अपना ही घर समझें. आई डोंट वॉन्ट टू बी लेफ्ट हियर बाय माई सेल्फ. By myself means on my own, being alone. So I don't want to be left here by myself. मैं यहाँ अकेला नहीं रहना चाहता. इसको simply ये भी कहा जा सकता है I don't want to be left here alone. तो by myself भी ठीक है और alone भी ठीक है. Part A. Verbs without a reflexive pronoun. Some verbs do not usually take a reflexive pronoun, although they may in other languages. We'd better hurry or we'll be late. तो इसके अंदर आप ये नहीं कह सकते we'd better hurry ourselves. हमें जल्दी जल्दी करना चाहिए. सो हरी बेसिकली समटाइम्स सम वर्ब्स डू नॉट नीड एनी अदर थिंग विद देम, यानी कि वो अपने आप में ही पूरा का पूरा मीनिंग कन्वे कर देते हैं. तो ऐसे वर्ब्स की सूरत में आप उनके साथ कोई भी रिफ्लेक्सिव प्रोनाउन यूज नहीं करते. Shall we meet at the cinema? I feel uncomfortable. Just try to relax. अब अगर आप hurry, meet, feel और relax को देखें तो ये ज़्यादातर इनमें state verbs हैं. State verbs or action verbs have a difference between them. Action verbs basically are describing some sort of action or physical action that is happening. State verbs basically are related to your feelings, your emotions, or if you are well, if you are ill, any kind of state that you are in. Now, if you are in some kind of state, then actually you are not performing some kind of physical action. So if you are ill, you will say, I am ill, I am better, I feel sad, I feel happy. So such verbs do not need such reflexive pronouns with them. Some of these verbs are afford, approach, complain, concentrate, decide, feel, plus adjective. Get up, hurry up, lie down, meet, remember, rest, relax, sit down, stand up, wake up, wonder, worry. So stand up, wake up, sit down basically are the imperatives. जहाँ आप किसी को command के तौर पर या कोई बात कह रहे होते हैं तो वहाँ पर भी आपको reflexive pronouns साथ यूज करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती. जहाँ तक जो है concentrate वाले उसकी verb की बात है, सो कॉन्सेंट्रेट अगेन थोड़ा सा इम्पेरेटिव सेंस में आ जाता है. इम्पेरेटिव्स बेसिकली मीन सम काइंड ऑफ कमांड गिवन टू समवन. तो व्हेन यू टेल समवन आई एम ट्राइंग टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट और प्लीज कॉन्सेंट्रेट और यू शुड कॉन्सेंट्रेट, सो बेसिकली वो इम्पेरेटिव सेंस में आ जाता है. तो आपको उसके साथ when you are already telling someone you should concentrate तो वहाँ reflexive pronoun use करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती. We do not normally use a reflexive pronoun with change. Clothes, dress and wash. Daniel washed and changed before going out. So you will either use you can use a reflexive pronoun with wash. ये अक्सर मैंने examples में देखा है. Probably it is not mentioned here, but you can use a reflexive pronoun wash के साथ भी. Daniel washed himself. ठीक है. तो but we can use a reflexive pronoun when the action is difficult. My friend is disabled but she can dress herself. So in special circumstances these ordinary tasks जिसके अंदर कोई of course जब आप कहेंगे कि जी Daniel changed or Daniel dressed, तो उसके अंदर of course Daniel will be performing that action on himself, that is understood. So you will not need a reflexive action with that. But then again, if you are talking in a sense that if some person is dirty, then you can say that Daniel washed himself. So in such special circumstances, for example, in this example, my friend is disabled, you are specially referring to the disability. So in that sense, you can use the reflexive pronouns. Let's move on to the exercise related to Unit 100. So we will do question number 3, exercise number 3 together from the unit 100. Pronouns after a preposition. This is basically related to section C of unit 100 and unit 98 section B. So you can take the help from the section B of unit 98. Put in the correct pronoun, for example, me or myself. Exemplary sentences have been done in front of you. We looked up and saw a strange animal in front of us. Don't tell us the answer to the puzzle. We can work it out for ourselves. So in this exercise, you basically have to find out if you have to use a reflexive pronoun or simply an object pronoun. Number one, it's a pity you didn't bring your camera with you. So here you are not going to use reflexive pronoun, you are going to simply use you. Number two, Mark talked to the woman sitting next to dash. Mark talked to the woman sitting next to him. So here again you will use him. Number three, the old man is no longer able to look after dash. So here look after basically is an expression that we just discussed a few moments ago. Look after means caring. So the old man has to care for himself, and when he can no longer do so, the sentence reads as the old man is no longer able to look after himself. My mother likes to have all her family near her. Number five, to be successful in life, you must believe in yourself. So let's move on to Unit 101. Unit 101 is related to the emphatic pronouns and each other. So let's read this out. Trevor and Laura are decorating their living room themselves. An emphatic pronoun is a word like myself, yourself. Now, basically, the structure of the pronouns, the emphatic pronouns, is the same as the reflexive pronoun, but they are basically used to emphasize a certain action or a point. It has the same form as a reflexive pronoun. Here, the emphatic pronoun means without help. Trevor and Laura are decorating the room without help from anyone else. Compare, they are having the room wallpapered by a decorator. So they are giving you here two examples just for comparison. Let's discuss these examples. In the first example, they have said Trevor and Laura are decorating their living room themselves. So when they have mentioned themselves, it means that they are not taking the help of anyone else. Normally, when people get their homes decorated, they can take the help of a decorator. But in this example, mentioning themselves means that they are not taking the help of anyone else, but they are helping themselves. So in the second example, they are having the room wallpapered. So it means that they are getting it done by a decorator. So through this, the idea should be clear regarding the emphatic pronouns, that emphatic pronouns basically are used to emphasize an action. Emphasize an action, emphasize what kind of point, that the action is done by the person who is reporting it, or if we are reporting about someone, then we are emphasizing this point that the action is being performed by them. यानी कि हम किसी के बारे में अगर बता रहे हैं और अगर हम ये themselves या himself के साथ इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं तो हम उस पॉइंट को emphasize कर रहे हैं कि जिसके एक्शन के बारे में हम बता रहे हैं वो ही इस एक्शन को परफॉर्म कर रहा है. Here are some more examples. I built this boat myself. So let's imagine that a person has built a boat and his friend has visited him. So his friend asks, who built this boat? So your friend will tell you, I built this boat myself. तो यहाँ पर जो बोलने वाला है वो इस पॉइंट को एम्फसाइज कर रहा है कि मैंने खुद बगैर किसी की हेल्प के ये बोट बनाई है. My sister designs all these clothes herself. So if the sentence had read, my sister designs all these clothes, so यहाँ थोड़ा सा confusion होता कि शायद जो है वो उसकी बहन की हेल्प कोई और भी करता है, लेकिन यहाँ herself से ये point emphasize हुआ कि उसकी बहन जो clothes design करती है वो खुद करती है और कोई उसकी हेल्प नहीं करता. Are you doing all the painting yourselves? क्या तुम खुद ही सारी पेंटिंग कर रही हो? अब इसके अंदर पूछने का मतलब यही है कि क्या किसी की हेल्प यूज कर रही हो या फिर सिंगल हैंडेडली इसको कर रही हो. तो यहाँ पर उसका यही मीनिंग बनता है योरसेल्व्स करने का, दैट द पर्सन इज एम्फसाइजिंग द पॉइंट बाय आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन दैट इफ यू आर सीकिंग द हेल्प ऑफ समवन एल्स और नॉट. When we say these sentences, we stress self or selves. Now look at these examples. The manager himself welcomed us to the hotel. It means that the manager welcomed them and not the manager did not get someone else to welcome them. Although she is very rich, the queen herself never carries any money. The house itself is small, but the garden is enormous. Of course, the children have been to the zoo. You yourself took them there last year. Here, the emphatic pronoun comes after the noun or pronoun it relates to. Normally, emphatic pronouns की पहचान कैसे होती है कि usually जो हैं वो या तो वो एक्शन करने वाले के फौरन बाद ही आ जाते हैं या फिर जो है वो यानी कि नाउन के जो है वो प्रोनाउन के फौरन बाद आ जाते हैं या फिर आपने बाकी एग्जांपल्स में देखा कि वो सेंटेंस के एंड पर भी आते हैं। तो दोनों सूरतों में जो है वो पता चल जाता है कि एम्फसाइज किया जा रहा है। Each other. Look at this example. Andrew and Jessica help each other with their work. This means that Andrew helps Jessica and Jessica helps Andrew. Here are some more examples. Mark and Alan aren't really friends. They don't like each other much. I'm still in touch with Kirsty. We write to each other. One another has the same meaning. So, we have already discussed in the very introductory lecture that each other and one another are known as the reciprocal pronouns. So, reciprocal pronouns means that the action is equally affecting the two people. So, in this first example, Andrew and Jessica help each other. This is a reciprocal pronoun. It means that both of them are helping each other on an equal level and the action is affecting them both equally. Uh, Mark and Alan aren't really friends. They don't like each other much. So here again, each other means that they have a mutual feeling. I'm still in touch with Kirsty. We write to each other. It means that the action is happening on an equal level. So we also discussed in the introductory lecture that there are only two reciprocal pronouns, each other and one another. One another has the same meaning. We send each other one another Christmas cards every year. So basically reciprocal pronouns जो हैं उसमें concept यही होता है कि जो action है वो उसमें दो लोग involved होते हैं हमेशा और जो है ना वो एक दूसरे को action affect कर रहा होता है लेकिन equal level पर कर रहा होता है. We can also use the possessive form each others, एक दूसरे का. So possession के लिए भी each other को आप इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. Tom and Mark wrote down each other's phone numbers. एक दूसरे का फोन नंबर टॉम और मार्क ने लिखा. एक दूसरे का फोन नंबर. अब दोनों के फोन नंबर्स अपनी अपनी पोजेशन में हैं और उन्होंने फोन नंबर्स ऑब्वियसली उन्होंने शेयर किए हैं. तो पोजेशन में होने की वजह से each other apostrophe s के साथ आएगा. This means that Tom wrote down Mark's number and Mark wrote down Tom's number. Compare each other and themselves. Now you can see that there are two pictures given here. In the first picture, what is written at the bottom of the picture? They are laughing at each other. So both of them are laughing. That is an equal action. And there are two people again here. And the action is affecting them both. They are laughing at themselves. ये दूसरी पिक्चर में लिखा हुआ है ठीक है at the bottom of the second picture. Why? Because both these the woman and the man they are looking at themselves in the mirror. So दो लोग हैं इसमें और of course उनका reflection और वो दो लोग मिलाकर इसीलिए कहा गया they are laughing at themselves. ठीक है तो उनके रिफ्लेक्शन और उनको मिलाकर ये बात की गई है तो यहाँ पर ये डिफरेंस है. Let's move on to our exercise. Question number 1 of the Unit 101 exercises. Question number 1, emphatic pronouns. This is related to the section A of Unit 101. Add a sentence with an emphatic pronoun. For example, myself. Use these verbs: bake, clean, decorate, develop, grow, paint, service, type. So they have given you the verbs here, but you have to use these with a variation, that means that you have to use them as emphatic pronouns. So I don't take the car to the garage, I service it myself. Garage और garage ये दोनों pronunciation ठीक है. I don't like the car. I don't take the car to the garage. I service it myself. Laura didn't buy those pictures. She painted them herself. Number 1. Tom doesn't have his windows cleaned. अब इस एक्शन को हम emphatic के साथ कैसे लिखेंगे? Tom किसी से help नहीं लेता. It means कि वो खुद clean करता है. So this sentence will be as he cleans them himself. Number 2. My bread doesn't come from a shop. अगर ब्रेड शॉप से नहीं आती तो फिर कहाँ से आती है? इसका मतलब खुद बेक होती है, की जाती है. I bake it myself. Number 3. My friends eat lots of fresh vegetables. मेरे दोस्त बहुत सारी fresh vegetables खाते हैं. अब normally इस sentence से तो as such assume नहीं किया जा सकता, but for the sake of exercise we can write they grow them themselves. Number 4. We finished the dining room yesterday. यहाँ आपको दिया गया है word decorate. So डाइनिंग रूम को फिनिश किया कैसे? ऑब्वियसली डेकोरेशन हो रही होगी. वी डेकोरेटेड इट आवरसेल्व्स. नंबर 5. मार्क डजंट डिक्टेट हिज लेटर्स टू अ सेक्रेटरी. क्या करता है? अगर डिक्टेट नहीं कराता तो ऑफ कोर्स खुद टाइपिंग करता है. ही टाइप्स देम हिमसेल्फ. नंबर 6. आई डोंट पे टू हैव माई फोटोज डन. अगर किसी को पे नहीं करती फोटोज अपनी डेवलप कराने के लिए तो खुद डेवलप करती है. I develop them myself. Let's look at exercise number 4. Each other or a reflexive pronoun. Now they are giving you a task basically that in these sentences find out if you have to use each other, ourselves or themselves. So they have done the first two sentences for you. Example दिया हुआ है. We could all do more to keep healthy. We don't look after ourselves properly. The hostess introduced the two guests to each other. Number 1. The two boxers did their best to knock each other out. तो दो लोग हैं, बॉक्सिंग कर रहे हैं, एक ही रिंग में इकट्ठे हैं. इसका मतलब एक्शन दोनों को इक्वली इफेक्ट कर रहा है, इसीलिए each other यूज होगा. Number 2. We talk to dash in French because it's the only language we both know. We talk to each other in French. Number 3. People who talk to dash may get strange looks from other people. People who talk to themselves. अपने आप से जो बात करते हैं. Number 4. We'd better set off early to give dash plenty of time to get there. To give ourselves plenty of time to get there. Number 5. The guards who shot a gunman claimed that they were defending themselves. अपने आप को defend कर रहे थे, अपनी हिफाजत कर रहे थे. Number 6. Luckily we managed to get 2 seats next to each other. एक दूसरे के साथ खुशकिस्मती से हमें सीट्स मिल गई. So we are done with today's lecture, and your homework for today is to do exercise 1, 2 and 4 from unit 100 and exercise 2 and 3 from unit 101. So this lecture has formally ended. I hope that you have understood the concepts behind it. Again, it would be a good idea if you have not attended the introductory lecture to pronouns. So you should watch that video first and then watch this one. So the lecture for today has formally ended. Take care. Allah Hafiz.